How many of you out there have always wanted to write a book? I mean, you've got the book in mind, you got the concept, you might even be imagining the cover, and you know you can do it, but you just need someone to guide you step by step through the process. And imagine that that special someone was also a tried and true patriot, someone who loves and supports the values of faith, family, and freedom that we hold so dear. Well, if this is you, then this is the video that's going to absolutely make those publishing dreams come true. I want to introduce all of you to Joanna Hunt Boyer. Joanna is a New York Times bestselling ghostwriter, author, and celebrity book strategist with projects recognized by all the major lists, right? The New York Times, USA Today, LA Times. She's got a list of elite clientele reaching audiences of literally millions around the globe. But perhaps best of all, Joanna is the founder of Publish and Go, and that's a 12-week book writing system that all of you prospective authors out there have been waiting for. And she even owns a conservative publishing house called Silversmith Press for both emerging and established patriot authors. And the best part in all this is that Joanna is going to be having a live webinar absolutely free on Thursday, July 7th. Don't worry, I'll give you time to write that down during the interview, 2 p.m. Eastern. You can reserve a seat for that by clicking on the link below. I'll be there. I'm going to be there with you. I'm sure many of you, as we learn to publish our own books in literally weeks, not months, not years, weeks, with Joanna's step-by-step program. So Joanna, it's so awesome to have you here with us. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you so much. I am so honored to be with you today as well, Dr. Steve.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Are you a native Texan? I know you're coming out of Texas, but are you a native Texan? How long you been in Texas?
Well, no, but I got here as quick as I could. And I was actually coached to say that. So yes, that's what you have to say once you move here. I got here as quick as I could. I was actually
Go for it. Yeah. You're talking to a Delaware boy who's trapped in a blue state here. So,
well, I was actually born in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So, yeah. So my whole family is, my extended family's in the New England area. And then I grew up in Florida. So my more immediate family's in Florida. So I've kind of been around the States, so to speak.
Yeah. And then if Doug Mastriano wins in Pennsylvania, it'll be 3 out of 3. You have 3 great states that you'll be a part of there.
Do you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Oh, it's so cool. Well, yeah, I know a lot of people are telling me, Turley, you got to get down to Texas. I mean, it's like nowhere else. You're going to love it. So, and Florida too. Florida gets recommended, and Tennessee I have to throw in there. All right. Enough with the geography. Everybody knows I am so passionate about book publishing. I've published over 20 books. I've dealt with publishers. I've self-published. Give us a sense of your perspective on the difference between going with a publisher and self-publishing. For me, I guess I'm assuming that woke cancel culture may be a bit of an impediment for conservatives in the traditional publishing space. I haven't used it in a while, so I'm not sure. It may not be as hospitable as it once was. Can you just give us a sense of what's happening to the conservative voice out there in the world of publishing?
Well, yes, of course. As we know, cancel culture has hit all the segments, and especially in publishing. Some people don't realize even how severe it's been. Sean Fecht, who was the worship leader traveling the country with a faith-based patriotic message, he was canceled by HarperCollins just because of his political standpoint. Right. And then also Milo Yiannopoulos, which I haven't followed him, but I did see his story in the news that he was also canceled by Simon & Schuster. I'm a Simon & Schuster author. And so to hear that is so disheartening. And also Senator Josh Hawley was canceled by Simon & Schuster as well. And even Post Hill Press, which is, they have done a lot of conservative authors as well. Their distribution is with Simon & Schuster. And they would not even distribute a book that was not labeled with their name for, it was The Fight for Truth, which was the behind the scenes of the Breonna Taylor shooting. It was Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly, they wouldn't even touch his book. So that it's so disheartening to see all of this, not surprising, but frustrating. And so then we have all these patriots saying, well, let me go self-publish. And then they go, well, I don't know how to self-publish. And if I self-publish, am I stuck with Amazon? And now we have this kind of information overload. Nobody really knows what to do, where to go, deer in the headlights, kind of an approach. And so that's why I'm so grateful to be doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? I mean, there is a sort of a Gutenberg press kind of moment in history happening here, isn't there, with self-publishing? Can you give us just a sense, what is self-publishing, and how is it beneficial to particularly conservative voices?
Yeah. So when I first started writing, I was very blessed to be in the right place at the right time. And people thought I was smarter than I was, and I just didn't tell them any different. And so I very quickly started writing for some very well-known New York Times bestselling authors. And so I didn't enter into the self-publishing space myself. And then over time, I just had so many people saying to me, how do I get a book out? How do I write a book? I've been writing a book for 10 years. I had a friend writing a book for 10 years, and I was really wanting to be able to help her. And then heard about this new online coaching phenomenon that was coming to bear. And so I said, you know what, I can probably do some online coaching and help people get their books done. So that was where the writing program came in. And so I would coach people into self-publishing. But so many people kept saying, I don't want to self-publish. I don't want to just be confined to one platform. I don't want to have to go hire a designer. And how do I know if they're any good? And, I've never done this before. I just have a story and a passion and a mission, and I need help. And then we had people saying, I self-published and my book isn't that great, or I paid tens of thousands of dollars to have someone else do it. Can you help us redo it? That was heartbreaking, because people were just being told things that weren't happening. And so that was when my husband, who is a creative director who's worked on in global marketing agencies for years, we said, listen, we can do this. We can pull together a publishing house and help these people. The front end is who you're working with to get your book produced and make it pretty and make it sound right. And then the back end is your distribution. So again, just by being in the right place at the right time, we were able to secure distribution with one of the largest distributors in the world, who supports all of these top 5 authors. So that was very exciting. I essentially begged and groveled for them to let me have an account with them. So that was right as the shutdown was taking place. And so we said, listen, we're conservative patriots. We handled, when Texas was shutting down, we were hosting rallies in downtown and connecting with frontline doctors. A lot of them are here in the Houston area. And so we started a campaign to educate people, just to stand up for their freedoms, to stand up for their rights. We weren't going to let our churches shut down. We actually helped start a church at the same time. So we're seeing all of this come to bear. And we said, you know what, this is our lane right here, is the helping amplify the conservative voice.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to mess with you, Joanna. That's for sure.
Born in Pennsylvania and living in Texas.
That's right. Combination, a little 1776 in there as well. Okay, Joanna's got an awesome, if you're just joining us, she's got an awesome live webinar on Thursday, July 7th, totally free, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. You can reserve a seat there by just clicking on the link below. And that's what Joanna's going to get more into a deep dive on how you can actually be a published author. It's really awesome. Can you give us just a sense of your writing methods and how, give a person an idea of, like, if they were to sign up with what you do, what would they get? How do they know they can be successful if they start working with you?
Absolutely. Well, what you get with me is a finished book.
All
And
right.
that is what people are after. First of all, a book that they love. I always tell my clients, I promise you will love your book. And my favorite day is when my authors see their books for the first time. Because you've had books. It's like having a baby. You're like, oh, this great work I have done is in my hands. But one thing that people tell me that's very different about any other experiences they have. People can go to writing retreats, they can go to workshops, they get a little inspiration, they get excited, and then they go home and they stare at a blank page. Or they come to me and they say, oh, I have 3 good chapters and I don't know what to do next. I hear that all the time. How long have you been working on your book? Years, years, years. The truth is, writing a book does not actually take that long. Getting over the head trip is the hard part. It's not getting started, it's having a plan to finish, and so if you have a plan and you have a guide and you have someone who can look around the corners for you because they've done it so many times, then you can kind of just settle in and let the creativity flow. So as a ghostwriter, I never had the luxury of having writer's block, because when you have deadlines and you're working with a client, you don't get to be emotional one day and say, I can't do it. You just have to figure out a way. And so I realized that I had developed these little strategies to get over the head trip and to be prepared and to know what to do next every step of the way, how to set writing goals, how to set a writing plan, how to mark it on your calendar. Most people don't even think about it, but I tell my authors, set a writing appointment like you do a doctor's appointment. This is your writing time. This is your writing goal for the day. And you can map out exactly when your book's going to be done. And so I teach these strategies and I tell my students, I've used Voxer support or various types of communications. And I say, if you're ever staring at a blank page, reach out to me. Do you know how many times I've had an author tell me they were staring at a blank page? 0.
Oh,
Because when they follow the steps that I tell them to do, they will get it done. It's just that simple. So I love that. And I love helping people bring their dreams to life. It's just such a great joy as a teacher and as a creative to just say, all right, come on, let me take you by the hand and I'll show you how this works.
Yeah, I love it the way you're talking about, because I remember when I first started writing books and it was so daunting because you were only thinking in terms of just this massive macro process. But if you break it down into those micro steps, like you were alluding to all throughout, it actually becomes extremely manageable step by step. Every one of those steps are themselves very, very manageable. And then when you put them all together and you look back, you're like, wow, that was pretty impressive. But I don't, oh gosh, I wish I had you. Oh, when was the first time I published? I think 2013. I wish I had you back almost 10 years ago. It would have been infinitely easier. My first publishing projects were through a publisher, but even just like the mind mapping and mapping out chapters and so forth, that was pretty daunting at first. So I had a couple of supervisors back in the day, but I wish I had this. I wish I had a method like this. That would have made my life infinitely easier. I guess. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, well, here's what I tell people. I tell people writing a book is like putting a puzzle together, but you don't have the picture of what you're making. So if you think of it that way, you start with your puzzle pieces, you dump them out of the box. So those are all of your ideas, your thoughts, your quotes, your points, the things you want to get across. Those are your pieces. And you flip them all over and you look at what you have. And then you start to group them together. Okay, this has a similar pattern. This has a similar color. Let me start seeing what fits together. And then you start to find the edge pieces and build a frame, which becomes your outline. And then you might go, oh, this blue isn't the sky. This blue is the ocean. So you start moving your pieces around until they fit. And then all of a sudden you see this thing that you never saw before and it's your book. So that's. Yeah.
And you're going all the way from the very beginning. You're going from the writing process to the publishing process to the marketing process as well, aren't you?
Yes. Well, this is something new that we've built on in the last year, which is very exciting because that's the other thing. People said, oh, I need to know how to write a book. Oh, I need help publishing a book. And I want to be, I don't want to be just in one place. I want to be everywhere. And so We met that need. And then they said, okay, we need help with our marketing. And so we have built out some pretty amazing marketing components for our authors. You know, it started out with an organic strategy. You know, we always encourage people. It's amazing to me. The average book sells 200 copies, right? Our authors will sell as many as 1,000 in their first month just by doing some organic strategies and making their book known. You know, there's 9 million books on Amazon. Probably a lot of them are really good, but we've never heard of them because nobody's promoting them. You know, they call it a best selling book, not a best written book. Nobody's going to judge your grammar, but they do need to hear about your book in order to buy it. So we give that marketing support. We give an organic strategy. We give a paid strategy if you want to put an investment behind your book. And then a lot of people also want to their book is a part of their message, but it's not the whole of their message, right? Some people just write a book as a passion project, a legacy project. And then some people, they want to build a business off of their message. They want to start doing this full time. So we kind of offer an array of services and support, just depending on what people are looking for and what people are wanting to do. So that's an exciting part as well.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So in that sense, that latter sense, the book is really just the tip of the iceberg. It's the gateway into all the services that a person has to offer. That's wonderful. So we've got, I'm sure we'll have thousands of people watching here, and they're going to want, and there's going to be several thousand who are going to want to write a book. They've always wanted to write a book, but they have yet to do it. So what advice do you have for somebody watching right now who's interested in actually doing it, in writing and publishing?
Well, first and foremost, take action and sign up for the webinar. Number one, of course, I'm going to say that again, because that's where I'm going to deep dive a little bit more into this whole process. But whenever somebody comes to me, I always say this, listen, they say, well, how do I know if I have enough material? I don't know, if I should do this or not. I always start with passion. If you said today, I'm not going to write this book, I'm just going to forget about it and I'm going to focus on something else. How does that feel? If you're one of those people and you say, oh, I won't be able to sleep, I won't be able to forgive myself, I won't be able to live with myself, I need to get this message out for my kids, for the next generation, for my family, to share healing and hope, and I have a message in a business. If you can't let go of it, start now. Author E.B. White, who wrote Charlotte's Web, he said, the person who waits for the ideal circumstance under which to write will die without ever getting a word on the page.
That's for sure.
There's never going to be an ideal circumstance, right? You know that. You just have to do it. If you want to get it done, you have to start. And so you just have to make up your mind. You don't have to give up your whole life. You don't have to, I can't work a job and write a book. Yes, you can. I say, if you can commit about an hour a day, I can show you how to get a book out in as little as 90 days, for real. And so if you just make the decision, commit, I'm committed to you. My authors know I'm committed to helping you every single step of the way, and you will get there. So my advice would be sign up for the webinar, make the decision to do it. Don't put it off, because the sooner you start, the sooner you'll have your book in your hand. And you listen, even if you don't have any writing experience, I have had authors who've never written a book before. Let me let you in on the little secret. If you're not good at grammar, that's why we have editors. We have people who do that. If you have a heart and a passion and a story and a message, that's where we start. And that's why I have a job, because guess what? Not even New York Times bestselling authors can write.
That's right. Oh boy, that's for sure. That's for sure. And it's so cool. I love this sort of, behind the scenes, how the sausage is made. Because very few people recognize how many different people are there to help you through this process. You have the concept, you have the imagination and the expression. You're going to pour it all out. And then you've got all these different players who could come in and refine it and tweak it and make it perfect, just the way you've always wanted it, with like you said, the grammatical techniques, with the grammatical competence and the like, that most, let's be blunt, most of us just don't have. We're not thinking about how prepositions relate to adjectives and tenses and all that. So there are some nerds who really like that stuff. When I studied Greek, I had to study all that stuff, you know. But
it's all Greek to me.
It's all Greek to me. That's right. Joanna, that is so awesome. Gang, I'm going to be there. So make sure you sign up. We're going to be there together. Joanna's event is called Publish and Go Live Virtual Event. Absolutely free. It's a webinar, deep dive, step-by-step strategy top authors use to write and publish best-selling books in literally just weeks. It's going to be Thursday, July 7th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thursday, July 7th, 2 p.m. Eastern. Absolutely free. Click on the link below to sign up. Again, it's what's the Thursday, July 7th.
Thursday,
Thursday, July 7th, 2 p.m. Eastern. I'll be there right along with you. We're going to be learning from Joanna. And I cannot wait to see your books become a reality. I mean, just think of how many lives you're going to be touched that are going to be touched by your own unique book. It's absolutely amazing. So, Joanna Hunt-Boyer, thank you so much for being on our channel here. I look forward to seeing you again on the 7th.
Well, thank you. The pleasure is all mine. I am so excited to be working with your audience because, like I said, we found our lane in publishing and we are freedom fighters as well. So to be able to bring those two passions together is a great joy.
We'll be together soon. Thanks so much, Joanna.
Thank you.